friends, this is Vicki with Grandma Vicki Crafts, and today I'm going to be making a gnome, and I'm going to make this a girl gnome. So what I have here is a piece of a pool noodle, and it measures about 6 inches long, and it is 2 3/4 inches across this way. And I know that because I have a styrofoam ball, and the styrofoam ball is a 2.3 inch ball, and that is what I'm going to set and glue onto the top of my pool noodle. So I also have a piece of black felt that I'm going to be rolling the pool noodle up into. I have some of these Dollar Tree rollers that I'm going to use for my gnome's arms. I have got some little wooden beads that I'm going to glue onto the bottom of her arms for her little hands. I have got some gold embroidery floss that I'm going to make into the tassel for my hat. And then speaking of the hat, I have got some cardboard that I have cut 2 pieces of cardboard, and they are 5.5 by 5.5. And then I have also made from a toilet paper roll a template to form the shape of the hat for my little gnome when the time comes that I'm ready for that. And then of course I have picked up just a few little decorations and some grad ribbon I might be using. I have a little polyester, possibly for her nose. I haven't decided on that yet. And then I have some yarn, and I'm going to be making some blonde hair for my little girl. So let's get started. So the first thing I did was I put my pool noodle onto my black felt, and I rolled it up and I glued it with hot glue. And now I'm going to cut off just the excess material here. So there we have that much covered. So now I'm going to take my scissors and just snip around the bottom, and then I'm going to go back with my hot glue and glue this down, making sure not to fill in that hole at the bottom, because I'm going to use this bolt, and I'm going to stick that down in there just to give my little grad gnome a bit of weight. So I'll go now and I'll glue the bottom part down. I might have to trim off just a wee bit. It might be a bit too long, so I'll trim it off a wee bit around here, and then I'll be back. So there we have the bottom all glued on, and now I'm going to put in my bolt into the bottom, and I'm going to just put a little bit of glue on that just to hold it. And you want to make sure that that is flush with the bottom so it sits up straight. So I'll go and do that, and as well I'm going to put the white half of ball that I cut in half, I'm going to glue that down on top of my pool noodle, and I'm also going to glue the rest of my felt around to that. So now that I have the little bolt in, and my foam is, my pool noodle is covered, now I'm going to cover it with this blue paper. This is going to be her dress. because this is actually the color of the girl that I'm making this for. This is the color of her dress. So I've just scalloped around the bottom just to give it a little bit of flair. And then when that's done, I've made myself a little robe out of the lining of a skirt that I had. So then I'm going to put that on like that. Then I have made a sleeve with a bit of a flare, and for her sleeve I'm going to use the foam curling roller from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to cut off, it's about 6 inches long, a little over 6 inches long. Well, it's actually 7 inches long, and I'm going to cut off a good inch. Then I'm going to cover it also with black felt because I'm going to put it up inside, and when I bend her arm, I don't want any of that pink showing, but that will go up on top. Like so. And I'll bend her arm, and she's going to be holding some flowers. So we'll carry on. So the first thing I'll do is put on her dress. So now her dress is on. Now I'm going to put her cape on around there. And then I'm going to I'll just pin that, tack that in there with the straight pin. If it'll go in here. Okay, there we go. So I'll just tack that on for now. Now I've got her arms covered with the black felt, and I've put a little ball on the end for her hand. I'm going to put that up inside the sleeve, and then I'm going to turn it, that wire, and I'm going to attach that onto the side like so, and then it will be able to bend so she can hold her diploma or her flowers or both. Now I'm working on her nose, the little gnome nose, and I've taken a 2-inch circle of muslin, and I've just stitched along so that I can pull it together, and I'll stuff it with my Fiberfill. And then I'm going to put that on next. Here we are. So there's her little nose. And then I'll put that on there like so. And then I've got her hat, the template made, and I'll put that on, and that'll come down on her nose. To make that bigger. Like so. And there she is. She's starting to take shape. So we'll carry on. So now, I know I said I was going to put the nose on next, but I forgot. We have to incorporate the school color, and this particular school is green. So I had got myself another piece of green glittery paper because I thought that would look nice with her dress being all glittered. So I just made a little scarf deal that would go around the front and the back of the gnome. Now I'm going to put on her nose next. Then I'm going to work on her hair, and I'm going to do a video for the hair separate because this is going to take a little while to do. So, but I'm going to, it's made out of the yarn, and I'm going to incorporate the hair on next after the nose. Then I'm going to work on her hat, which I had originally said was 5.5 by 5.5, but I have cut that down to 4.5 by 4.5. And I've also got some more little material, black material, like the jacket, and I'm going to be putting that, gluing that down on both sides, either side of that part of the hat. And then I traced out my template onto another piece as well, and I'm going to also glue that down, and then we'll carry on with her hat. So we're coming along, but that's what she's looking like so far. I think she's going to be cute. So here's our little grad gnome so far. So now I have got this part of the hat finished and glued. I got the cardboard covered all around my template, and I have it glued. So now what we need to do is we need to glue the top of the hat on, but in order to do so, I need to have something inside this part for it to glue down onto this part of the hat, the top of the hat. So I've cut out a piece that is bigger than the top opening here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to push it down in carefully, and I'm going to glue that all in and around. So I've got the felt on top that I can glue the top of the hat down on. Then when I get that part done, I'm going to take this fine trim that I bought, and I'm just going to go around the edge of my hat. It's just ever so fine. And then I found a little button that also has, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it also has the same kind of a look as the trim does. And I'm going to take my wire cutters, I'm going to cut that off, the button part off. Then I'm going to glue that down onto the middle of my hat, and that will be the top of my hat. So let's carry on. So here she is with her hat all finished now, and the button on the top and the trim is all around. So all we need now is our tassel. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking a piece of embroidery floss, and I pulled out a couple of strands, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to find the middle, and I'm just going to tie this around in the middle so that when it's bent over like that, that will be our tassel. So I'm going to tie it in a tight knot, and then I'm going to tie it in a tight knot, and then I'm going to put another piece that all will get incorporated into the bottom. So there's our knot. So now I'm going to take another strand that I had pulled out, and I'm just going to wind it around the top part up here to make our tassel. And I'm going to tie that off. Nice and snug. Like so. Then I'm going to clip the ends of the tassel. We'll open them all up. And then we'll probably have to smooth it all out, because some will be longer than others. And then I'm going to take this top part though, and I'm going to connect it to the top, to the top of my button, so that her tassel will hang. So there she is with her tassel on, and now I have gone ahead and I've made her some flowers to hold. And this is what they look like. Now, this is my version of just a little rose, tiny, tiny. So I've taken a 1/2 inch, give or take a 1/2 inch of just red satin type material, and it is about 12 inches long. Then what I did was, I just folded the corner over, like so, and then I folded the back side back over, like so. And then what I did was, I just very carefully took it and wound it around real tight, going round and round and twisting my material every so often until you get the size of what you would like to have for her little flower. So there we are. Then I took a piece of floral stem, and I just attached that with the hot glue, and then I went around a couple more times. Then I cut off the red, the rest of the red, and I started with my green tape, my green floral tape. And I just would go around and around and all the way down the stem until you have what looks like this. So I made her 6 little flowers, and I incorporated some baby's breath that I had from my stash. So I think that's pretty cute. And then I cut them off to fit inside. You'll see her little hands have a hole in either side. So when I glued her hands on, I glued it with the hole up so that she could hold her little bouquet of flowers in this hand. So now the underneath part we haven't finished off. And you could just put a piece of felt and put that on and glue that on and call her finished if you like. But I'm not going to do that because I want to give her some shoes. So I have poked holes there and there. And then in my piece of felt, I have also poked holes. So now when I glue this on, I'll be able to take my little shoe with my stem that's going to go up her leg and glued into the bottom of the shoe. This will go up through that hole, and it's going to stand like this, but I'm going to decorate her shoes. So that's the next step, so we'll carry on. So now for the shoes. What I used was from the Dollar Tree. You can buy these baby shoes in the baby section. So I have covered this shoe with some white glitter felt, and that measures about 5.5 inches by about 1.5. So 1.5 by 5.5 inches across. Then I glue this on, starting at the back of the heel, like so, in the middle. I'll glue that all the way around until it looks just like that. So I'm going to add some glue up the middle of the shoe at the back. Then I'm going to take my material, my felt, and excuse me, I'm going to glue it right up the middle like that. Then I'm going to go all the way around the shoe by gluing all along the bottom of the shoe and bringing my felt up along, making it even with the back of the shoe. And I'm going to go all the way around the shoe doing this. Until we get back to the back and we're back at the middle. So there we have what looks like a shoe. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my shoe and I'm going to put this all the way in and around. I'm going to stick that in like so. And then at the front, I'm going to pinch it together like this, just pinching it together like this. And then I'm going to flatten that so that it looks like that. So then you'll have your shoe that looks like this. So all of this gets glued down inside of the shoe. And then for this part, you can just take just a bit of glue and put it like that. And then on this side, same thing, like that. And just hold it down. And there you have your little shoe. Then I just glued a little bead on, and the material around here is the same material as what her dress is. And I'm going to glue that around there as well. Now before I put the blue trim around the bottom of the shoe, I have got a piece of black glitter foam, and I traced around the shoe to make the sole of her shoe. So I'm going to attach that onto the sole of her shoe first. And this is, this glitter foam has a sticky back on it. So I'm just going to peel that away and stick this down for the sole of my shoe. So there we have the soles of the shoe. So now I'm going to go around with my little piece of the same paper that was like her dress, and I'm going to start in the middle at the back, and I'm just going to go all along the edge at the bottom with my hot glue and glue this down. And I'm going to do that all the way around the shoe. And then I have a little blue gem, and I'll just put a dot of glue on there, and we'll put that on the front of the shoe to match the other. Now inside my shoes for weights, I have got some bolts. And I'm not sure on the size, but I can find out that and put that in the description box. And that's just going to give it some weight so that my little gnome will stand up. Now here's what she looks like standing up. And I've just got her sitting inside. And what I have here are balloon yardsticks that you can buy from the Dollar Tree. And I've just cut off a piece that's about 2.5 inches long, and I've stuffed it up inside the foam up in under her dress. So now I'm going to put some glue inside the bolt that's in the shoe, and then I'm going to secure her foot down onto that. And then she should be able to stand up without falling over. So here she is, my little grad gnome, and she's all complete. And I think she turned out really, really cute. So if you like this idea for a gnome, and I know it was a long video, but I think it was well worth it. So if you like this, please like, share with your friends, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and always remember to be kind. Thanks for watching. Bye now.